Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. For today's video, I'm so excited because I'm gonna be talking and just sharing my experience delivering my little handsome boy Jeremiah. Before I start this video, I'd just like to disclose it's my experience. Everything is, take it with a grain of salt. This is just from my experience, and I really hope that one of you guys watching this is able to gain something from it or learn something new. So yeah, let's just go ahead and get into the video. Okay, so my son was born on my favorite day ever now, which is April 11th, 2023. I was actually supposed to get induced on April 13th, which was Thursday, and I was so nervous, you guys, because I just wanted to have a natural birth. I wanted him to come on his own, and I was just super anxious because I felt like they really wanted to make sure I got induced. And the reason that they wanted to make sure I was induced was because they said he was weighing kind of big. So they wanted to induce me. April 9th, we had actually had a second baby shower for me that weekend, the weekend before, and I was already kind of feeling like super exhausted. Like my back was starting to hurt and I was just super tired. I was walking a lot. I actually walked a lot throughout my whole pregnancy. I was always on the go moving, and I was always like bouncing on that ball that they recommend, and nothing was happening. Sorry, let me just put a trigger warning before the thing I just said, but this video is also going to be talking about like blood and stuff like that, so if you're queasy or anything, just a warning right now. I fell asleep that night, and as soon as I woke up in the morning, I could just feel like something just didn't feel right. And I went to the restroom and I noticed inside the toilet it was my mucus plug, and there was a little bit of bleeding. I was nervous because I was getting things ready, like some last minute stuff. I was already, as ready as I could be, but I just wanted to make sure everything was like perfect. And so I was a little anxious, and then I was like, I'm just gonna keep cleaning and just doing what I have to do, these last minute stuff. And then my boyfriend was like, I think we should go to the hospital. And then I was like, maybe we should, just to get checked, and then I'll come home and just do what I have to do. So we get to the hospital, they check me, and they tell me that I'm 3 or 4 centimeters dilated. And because of my bleeding, they said, because I started bleeding a little bit more at the hospital, they said they wanted to keep me at the hospital. And I was super anxious, and I had told the nurse, I was like, is there any way I could go home and then come back in like 3 hours or so, because I just want to clean? And he was like, no, like you need to stay at the hospital. And I was just like, okay. I stayed at the hospital. The people in my room were my boyfriend, his mom, and my sister, and it was great. I had a great support system. My sister was literally like, I bless her heart, because I don't know how I would have done it without her. Like, she was just there. And my sister actually has 3 kids, so I know she has the experience, and her son was actually born a couple months before mine in that same hospital, so I knew she already knew like the procedures and everything like that. And it was funny because as soon as she walked into my room, like, she went to go look at my contractions right away. And it was funny because I actually posted it on TikTok, and it picked up a lot of traction. Like, I got a lot of views and likes and stuff, and a lot of people in the comments, which made me happy the most, like a lot of people in the comments could relate, and they just shared their stories. I'll post the video right here so you guys could see. I had a really great support system in the hospital, and I'm so thankful for that. But because my water didn't break, it was just my mucus plug, they had me walk around the hospital, so I was just walking around the whole time. And then I started feeling contractions, and I was like, whoa, like these really hurt. And it's kind of crazy because they say contractions feel like period cramps, and they really do, like times 10, probably times 100. But it's kind of crazy because with contractions, like, you feel that contraction for like 10 seconds and then it goes away. Like, it's so much pain at once, and I'd be like, "Mm." And then this next second I'm like, okay, so blah 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 blah. I started getting a lot of contractions, and at one point I just could not bear it. Like, the pain was unbearable. And I was bouncing on the ball. They had me doing different things to, you know, kickstart the labor more and just get my water to break. But nothing was happening. So they nothing was happening, and I was already in so much pain. So they ended up inducing me, and you know, they broke my water and stuff. And then I don't know, I think I was maybe 6 centimeters dilated, and the pain was just too much for me. So I decided to get an epidural, and after that it was easy breezy. Like, I did not feel anything at all, nothing. It was so painless. Decide to get an epidural, you know, just know the cautiousness with that and the warnings beforehand. Everything like just seemed to happen so fast. And now that I'm sharing this video, like, things are coming back to my mind. And a couple hours had went by, and I was kind of staying on like 8 centimeters for quite some time. So my sister actually went home, and then my boyfriend and his mom stayed at the hospital with me, and we all just fell asleep. Woke up the next day, my sister came in, and we were all together again. That's kind of when everything started happening. It's kind of still a little bit of a blur to me. Like, I have to go back and look at the videos and like listen to them. But I just remember that nurses came in and they started doing like fake pushes with you and just kind of guide you and show you how you're gonna have to push. And the doctor comes in for like the real deal. Like, once you fully start pushing out that baby, that's when the OB is gonna come in, and that's like when everything happens. Nurses started like fake pushing with me, and then obviously they checked my centimeters. I think I was like 9 centimeters at that point. I can't remember, but I was already almost, he was already going to be due soon. So everything started happening. They started bringing in the tables with all, you know, everything, like the knives and all that stuff. And it was just like, I was like, oh my gosh. But thankfully, like, my sister was guiding me through it, and my boyfriend's mom, and they were just kind of telling me what to expect and like, you know, how to like get this done. And finally the OB came in, and I was like, okay, it's going down, like, it's time. He came in, and I was pushing, and it's kind of crazy because when you push, like, you think in your mind to push out of a certain way, but that's not necessarily the way that's best. So I guess when I was pushing, I couldn't feel my legs because of the epidural. So my boyfriend's mom and him held one leg, and my sister held the other leg. And my sister was actually like looking at the contraction thing, so she was kind of helping the doctor to like, okay, she's having a contraction, like, you know, start pushing. So my sister was like a whole nurse that day. It's crazy. Started pushing, and I didn't know this because obviously I can't feel anything like from my waist down. And I guess I was pushing, and they'd be like, oh my gosh, his head's almost there. Like, he's coming, I can see his head. And I'd be like, oh my gosh. But for some reason, like, I would push and he would come back in. I would push and he would come back in. We did that so many times. And so finally the doctor was like, you're gonna have to use the vacuum. And at that point, my sister, like, the whole time my sister was like, push, breathe, like, you know, helping me with all these techniques and stuff. And then it finally got to the point where the OB was like, where he had mentioned bringing out the vacuum. And my sister looked me in the eyes, and she was like, they're not gonna use the vacuum. You're gonna do this. And I was like, okay. And then she was like, you need to poop. Poop. So like, she wanted me to push like if I was pooping. And my sister was like, okay, she's getting a contraction, let's go. And she'd be like, poop ash, poop ash, poop ash. Like, she was yelling it. She's just like, poop, poop, poop. And literally, you guys, that helped me so much, because as she kept saying that a lot and I just kept going, he literally slipped right out. And it was like the most beautiful moment I've ever had in my life. And it's so different when you have your baby in your stomach and you could feel them kick, you could feel them move, but you can't hear, you know, their cries, their voice. And so that first cry, just like, I was so emotional. And I was like, oh my gosh. And my boyfriend cut the umbilical cord, and then they placed my baby on me, on my chest, and it just felt so real. And oh my gosh, it was just like the best feeling ever to have your baby be with you. Everybody's birthing experience is a lot different, and I just thank God that mine went the way it did, and I had the supportive team that I did, because it really could be like a make it or break it for you. And I wish anybody who's pregnant to have that same support, because it's so helpful. And like I said, I don't know what I would have done without my sister. Like, Kasan, if you're watching this, which I know you probably are, thank you so much. I cannot thank you enough for helping me. Like, you were amazing. Thank you so much, and I love you. I just want to share some things that I wish I would have done differently, and some things that I'm glad I did. And one of the things I wish I would have done differently is just listen to my body more. Like, towards the end of my pregnancy, like I said, I was always on the go my whole entire pregnancy from beginning to end. And I was always like working and just moving a lot. And when I told you guys like I had back pain and stuff, I wish I would have just listened to my body. And then, you know, the day of, and then when the nurse said like, you know, just relax, like you're here at the hospital already, like you're gonna stay here. And I just wish I would have like soaked that in more and just listened to my body. Like, dude, you're a whole mother, you're gonna give birth right now, like don't put too much stress on your body. And I wish I would have done that differently, instead of like stressing over things that didn't matter. Like, I was so stressed over cleaning and just deep cleaning the entire place, you know, to get ready for our son being here. And I wanted to just like deep clean everything. And it's so nice because my boyfriend's mom, she knew I was like stressed over that, so she actually came to our place and she cleaned it for us. She like deep cleaned everything, and it was just that was honestly amazing, and I'm so thankful for her for that, because it was so helpful. One thing I'm glad that I did do was that I tried to prepare myself as much as I could. I know there were some things that I wish I would have, you know, prepared a little bit better, but I'm glad that I read as much as I could. Like, I would go online and read and watch a lot of videos just to educate myself a little bit better on what to expect with a baby. I didn't know everything. I learned a lot throughout the process, but I'm glad I kind of had a little bit of an understanding of what to expect and stuff, which is what I really recommend for a first-time mother. Just read as much as you can and learn as many things as you can, because it is going to be helpful. All right, you guys, that is it for today's video. Like I said, this is going to be a part of the start of my motherhood series, which I'm so excited to share with you guys. Like, I'm literally so excited. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. And if you're a mom and you have any advice on labor and delivery or anything like that, please feel free to leave it in the comments. And if you learned something from today's video, please share that. I would love to know that I, you know, shared something that you were able to learn from and stuff. I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.